tools have been exhausted, though. You know, they ended up committing the Yorick here.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have closers Talia anymore. I feel like that's been his best champion.
Tell me more, Wolf. Tell me more.
I'm thinking... That's mainly it, you know? Those are the big ones. Maybe Morgan's going to try to play Doran or something.
I don't know. I've seen an emote in my game. In fact, I see it every single time I load into anything.
Renekton?
And that is a Renekton with some shaky hands, baby. So maybe the Crocodile is going to come out.
You and I were talking about, he's not playing Sion, which was what we expected this would be banned again. But you and I were talking backstage about how we were like, maybe he's feeling himself, like the confidence he showed in Game 2. Maybe he will pull it out. Maybe he'll pull out the Camille.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to see.
There's a few of those. We'll see whether Doran goes back to something more like tanky, like it could be on priority. Skyrocketing here, especially with the Rumble being banned away. No Yorick, no Ambessa, no Jace.
Talia's gone, so Faker's like, this is my moment to play Azir, and I will take it. So that's not a surprise. No Victor, no Talia, no Ahri. So Closer.
Does Closer just play a Kali?
Aurora?
Aurora could be an option.
I feel like he's super confident on the Aurora. They could go Aurora Nocturne here. Feels pretty good. Or Galio Camille. No, he's pulling the Lucian out early.
Wow, that is very early.
I mean, a lot of AD carries have been taken away. The Varus is gone. The Kallista's gone. So not surprising, especially because Guma has leaned on this pick a lot when the pool gets thinned out. We're in Game 3 here, so
and
I hate it.
I assume they like the matchup into the Zyre as well. As
Nami?
Even lock in the Nami. Now, we have seen this this season
0%
already.
Win rate!
But, like, yeah, she hasn't been working.
Yeah, they changed how her abilities work, and Lucian's gotten nerfed a few times, and it's not quite the same power level. I actually kind of like the Emilio more, to be honest, but Guma's just like, well, if you're going to raise the prio on that, I'll raise the prio on Xayah, Rakan, and we'll take those away. So I think Closer probably grabs a mid laner here, and we'll see jungle pools thinned out after that. I feel like it's a good Aurora angle.
Yeah, I think it's a fine Aurora angle. I think that every other angle is doomed out of its mind.
Why are we picking Trundle here?
Why
question.
Not?
Because you could wait and see if it's like a Sejuani and then pick it later, or...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well,
also 0% win rate. Bros are going to change history tonight, Atlas.
Exactly. It's all about turning around the win rates. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that T1 have hit a home run, and okay, bro, we're in the parking lot, and they're not even playing the same game. It's looking a little bit rough here. You can understand the pick away of the Lucian. I don't know whether you necessarily then need to fully index into the old Lucian Nami that doesn't work necessarily.
Yeah, like what's the priority on these two picks that I think T1 were not really thinking about at all, that you could have gotten other picks for and then save these for later?
And also, like, the Rakan doesn't have to worry about Poppy or Talia based on the last game either. Like, it's a very comfortable Rakan angle.
Yeah, I feel like this was a big miss for me. But we'll see what they finish the draft with before we fully judge. But
yeah, I mean, the bros often have things up their sleeve.
Yeah, I've been critical of some drafts that I didn't like that did end up winning with the enemy team Nexus exploding today. Yep. So this could be another one of those scenarios as Nara is taken away. It's a very good and safe one here. As we still don't know what that top side is going to look like just yet. I don't think it'll be Trundle top, I can tell you that.
It could be. It depends. We might have that lore matchup, right? Like if they lock in Darius, we might be able to actually get that 6 cinematic, the Noxus cinematic, with the Trundle versus Darius. We don't get the Renekton, so it's not going to be Renekton.
It's not going to be Renekton.
Zoe just locked in.
Closer, this was one of his best picks.
What year is it?
This is one of his best picks when he was playing behind Faker in that year, 2021, where Zoe was meta. We saw Faker play it. We saw BDD play it to great success. Even Chovy every now and then. Sejuani is going to get locked in, it looks like here.
No, that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it?
I mean, it wouldn't be very good.
Yeah, because like the Frost Armor helps the Subjugate, which makes like Trundle unkillable. They're not going to lock that one in. Jax is going to be taken away here by Doran. Great team fighting Jax player. And now Oner is considering a Nidalee.
Also considering Zed. I would prefer the Nidalee. Canyon had some struggles on the Zed, even though he did pick up the W.
He did.
Technically. It didn't feel like he did last time that was played. Talon.
Talon is...
What year is it? No,
oh, God.
He knows Sejuani isn't a great pick here, but he's like, it's the only pick that really works with our draft.
Never mind, it's Talon.
Or it's Talon.
Well, I love that they actually hover the Sejuani first and then lock in the Talon.
And then we get the insta-lock Shen.
Oh, God.
Top lane.
You know, I've actually been watching this guy. I've forgotten his name, and I really should be able to credit him, but I've been watching a bunch of, like, Shen videos on YouTube.
You know what?
Like, full games of Shen. And Shen, when he gets going, is absurdly good.
You know what? I guess you guys were right all along. Fearless is pretty cool. I guess like the 1 out of 80 games we'll get the crazy one. Of these two teams, I feel like are pretty well known to have pretty succinct champion pools. I think we can all agree that both T1 and Bro kind of keep their champions close to the chest. Yeah, they both got the wind of that and banned a lot of these picks out, and it got a little bit weird. Priority got a little bit strange in this one. But it's been a while since I've seen Shen in the top lane, but it does offer a lot of global presence for a team that's already been playing really well through side lanes. So I'm excited to see how this one is going to eventuate. The Trundle is not going to be playing into Sejuani, but I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work out with the Talon pick, especially with the Shen shield that's going to be able to come through. But otherwise, a pretty squishy draft here for Bro.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, it's a squishy draft for T1 as well, because it kind of has to be, because you want to be denying as much Trundle value as possible. But still, I don't think Talon wins in the 1v1 against Trundle necessarily. Of course, the Chomp is just so good against other AD champions.
Yeah, it's very strong.
If, however, Oner runs away in the matchup, it will be a big old problem. Traditional Trundle there as well. I see you, Croco. That's what we like to see. Let's get into game number 3, T1 versus Bro.
협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 3 or number 6 as we are going the distance.
Well, I gotta say, this is a little bit unexplored territory. These two drafts. I don't want to make any overarching statements about what they mean and how they work, but I will tell you that I think Bro have a ton of burst power. They have Zoe, they have Lucian, and they have half of Faker's health bar.
Oh, the press the attack is doing so much work here. There's another Chomp as Faker getting taken down very, very low, and in fact, electing to go for the potion, realizing not enough time to go back home.
The classic unsealed spellbook Zoe, the closer.
Yeah.
One of Faker's favorites in the past as well.
All right, there's a flash forward. Flash out immediately there from Polu, who gets a whole lot of ebb and flow value, and Gumayusi taking a lot of damage here as well. The Electrocute is once again going to be the keystone of choice here, as we see for Hype.
Got buffed so many times. It's just so strong in these bursty trades.
It was Diablo that went for it last time around, right?
I believe so.
So Hype getting wind of that one as once again a grand entrance. Polu going to use the heal. As you can see, Keria understanding that this combo is so good level 1.
Yeah, they really got a lot of value out of that because they targeted Polu. Hype has barrier, but they didn't hit him. But now Hype has a potential all-in angle. Once level 2 is reached for both of them, they can actually look for the pressure onto Guma. Guma does not have his barrier anymore, so to be very aware of this. Keria and Guma will hit level 2 first, though, so maintaining that tempo is very important.
Yep, well played there by the Bros to understand that they did not have any right to be that far up the lane. But still, T1 investing a lot into this, as well as Bro. So it could mean that a possible gank angle could be there for either the Troll King or the Talon. Because, man, it's been such a long time since we've seen the Talon jungle. I remember when those changes first came in and Talon jungle became a thing. Of course, he's so good at getting around the map with the ability to jump over all of the walls around and all that sort of stuff.
There was the time where we had like Axiom Arc and all that come out, and there was for like a week or two we had Talon jungle. So that's not what he had in mind.
No, it was supposed to be the let's go home together type.
I was like, no, it's chill. It's whatever. I'll be here when you get back.
Yep.
But yeah, we had like the Talon jungle. We had Kiana mid for a little bit. And then we very quickly realized in the LCK that assassins are just not it. Like kind of like how Canyon realized that a few days ago. Oh
Oh my god, Doran's gone back in. Has relatively low health. As Morgan's sword angle is not looking too bad. As
He was the last one.
He was the last one to play it against Rascal. That's a tough matchup, especially in 2021. My god.
Yeah, that was genuine.
As all right, pulls over the sword, gets it empowered, but of course, as Jax, you're able to press the Counter-Strike button. Of course, the empowered Q, like auto attacks, are so important for Shen in this matchup that you can really use the Counter-Strike pretty effectively.
Yeah. So Faker did take that really unfortunate. Yes, it's been a long time since we've seen all of these. We saw the Talon, and then like it was Bulldog who last played this against Chovy, which was 2 years ago actually, Bulldog's debut year. Here comes Croco.
Yeah, he's walking over Vision, but of course Keria wanting to use his grand exit in order to make this one work. The Pillar of Filth goes down, and now Gumayusi on the other side of the rift. Let's see whether this Feather recall is going to work out. It's Croco that eats all of them. The Ebb and Flow doing so much work. And there's one more auto, and that is going to do it. Chef's kiss there for Hype as he picks up first blood. And the Bros feeling pretty happy about this early game.
Hype grabbed his chest after that one, knowing it was a pretty tense play with potentially Oner rotating over right afterwards. But Guma got his barrier back, and I think that that was maybe the moment that gave him the most stress, but I think it was always going to be a sure thing that they got the kill. He was able to secure it himself, didn't go to Croco. So a big win here. I was mentioning Faker earlier. It did lose a lot of his health bar at level 1, so is significantly behind in CS as a result. I mean, it's 8 CS now. It was a little bit bigger earlier. So every time we see this Counter-Strike channeled, we jump to the top lane.
Yep.
But it's still a relatively even start. Just a really good play there from the Trundle early on, Pillar of Filth. He held it for a long time. Comes down here. They have vision that there's no Talon. They also have vision of the Talon pathing towards the red buff, so they would see exactly where he is when this happens. They're like, oh, he's so far away. And then Guma ends up on the wrong side of this fight and got his barrier back, but does not hit the root here onto Hype, which is critical positioning for Hype. Very nice. Guma's barrier buys a little bit of time, but ultimately he still dies. Now down both summoners.
Yeah, you can see Oner was actually in the area, but just not quite able to get there in time.
And they knew where he was because they had that really good ward on the red buff. So they're like, okay, we have just enough time. The pathing is really good from Croco. He's got the wraparound angle there. Now we're going to see a swap.
Yeah, Doran moving down towards that bottom side. Gumayusi here in the top side of the map. As Morgan, no teleport. Does have level 6 though, so Stand United going to be there. Can always use that to taxi yourself towards a teammate. In the early game especially, it can work out very, very well.
We're going to lose a lot of farm here on the top side potentially though, because he doesn't have anyone to go to there, and they're going to commit to the Drake. And so as a result, it should be maybe even a plate going over to Guma in that top side. See how much time he gets alone with it, but I think he should be able to, take that plate away. So I'm feeling pretty good about the tempo that he gains from this, despite dying there in the bottom lane. Very even game here. Really only that first blood, the difference maker, but the Dragon does go over to Bro. Laning phase here for Closer once again, starting off well. Again, kind of a cheat lead because of the level 1, but let's see if he can hold on to that advantage. Has his Ignite at the ready for now.
Looking forward to seeing what Morgan's going to do with the build. Like whether it is just going to be the full tank Shen
I'm not sure.
that has been pretty popular, or whether you go for the more cruiser style. You can actually play Shen as kind of a side laner in a lot of ways. Of course, Stand United does really help you. Works kind of like GP, right? You can just always help no matter what. And
I think
see whether he does go for something like a Titanic Hydra into, you know, some more like battle stats. But it looks with this Giant's Belt, it's looking a little bit hard steely.
With the burst that they have, I think it is going to be hard to. But the burst that they have, and the fact that they have a Trundle, like it means that Talon, if you just build tanky, Talon can't do a whole lot of things to you.
I mean, they have a lot of Zoe food on the side of T1. There is a lot that if you get bubbled, you can possibly just die.
Yeah, no, it's pretty insane. So I feel like you just build tanky and you become so difficult to deal with later on, and there's so many ways to catch the side of T1, and then you can play through sides really aggressively, even if you don't go like Hullbreaker, because you're Shen, and you know you can teleport in, so you can go deep in the side, and even if you don't have your teleport summoner spell, you still have your teleport ultimate. And the fact that this Lucian got the kill earlier on has already accelerated is really huge for Bro. They're gonna have this explosive mid game where they have so much pick potential. Rocco's here.
Yeah, making his way in. There's a great entrance. That's really nicely played to make sure that Hype doesn't get the extra damage down.
That was really clean.
That was an instant cancel on the culling. I actually didn't see the culling go out. I had to see that it was on cooldown.
They saw Oner was coming up too.
Yeah, and Hype dashes forward. That's a bit dangerous. He's going to flash out with the grand entrance onto 2 as Oner looking to close the gap, and he finds it. The bleed is ticking down from that Q as now Faker taking a lot of damage. Croco is at full health. And he's still pushing forward. There are 4 people here, Croco.
Yeah, that was very scary. Closer is showing up as well, but they have vision of him. I don't think he hits this bubble onto Guma. No way. He's not even going to go for it. Nope. And that's the end of that.
Look at all these summoner spells on the ground, though.
Yeah, they do end up getting the grubs off of this, which is kind of crazy. Like,
yeah, we haven't actually seen very much Trundle recently. Do the little Void Mites that pop out give King's tribute to Trundle?
I actually don't know the
answer. You just have infinite health all the time? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I guess they do. I actually haven't really seen this interaction before.
So Trundle is like the healthiest at taking down the Void Grubs. There you go.
Yeah. And I mean, I think obviously it's going to be really nice for him in situations like this too, where things get a little bit brawly. Is
Hype gonna get flashed on there by Faker. Oner gonna come on over as well. There is the dash forward, and the kill goes over to Faker. You can see Oner holds the auto, says, "Take it, my goat." He picks that one up. As now Closer will put Keria to sleep, but he does have to use his own flash. Didn't have one of those.
Yeah, did not have one. Had a heal, I believe there, but we'll have to get over the wall. Pretty unfortunate for him, but they got the grubs. So that's good news. And even a jungle Trundle, if he's left alone in the side, can do a little bit of damage to turrets, but I like where this is going for Bro in terms of the setups they have. You know, as long as no more incidents happen where Hype is going in after it seemed like they had already committed to not going in and getting caught by Keria, because Keria had 2 phenomenal plays there on the top side, which we're going to kind of gloss over and go back to this moment here, because Flash had to be used for Hype in that top side. Now he doesn't have it. Now Faker has the Flash engaged, so yeah, kind of snowballing that advantage pretty big.
Wasn't really allowed to be in that position, but at least has to get, like, Faker has to use the flash, and so it's not like they get nothing for it. But still, Bro behind about 1,000 gold, and we do need to go back to like the eclectic nature of this Bro draft. A lot of it hinges on Closer being really strong. Like if Closer is not really strong, then they just kind of don't do a whole lot of damage.
Yeah, he needs to be the bursty assassin that Zoe should be.
Yeah, the bubbles need to be scary. If the bubbles aren't scary, then the Bro composition kind of doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he does have unsealed, so he can do some niche things like look for some objective plays, as Morgan does have flash. Let's see if he has to use it. I don't think so.
He's got Shadow Dash as well. He should be fine.
Yeah, he's fine. The Luden's Companion, which is a rarely picked item these days, does get locked in here, and that's the kind of bursty champion that is going to look for that. As Keria is hiding on this flank angle here, Oner's coming over. Trying to dive his Shen, though, is going to be tricky.
Yeah, he's teleporting towards the top side of the map, as Doran is going to be shoving that wave in. And so Morgan able to pick that one up pretty comfortably, but still he's 26 CS behind. The Jax is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, the Shen pick isn't working out just yet, and they haven't been able to use any Stand United macro plays. They haven't been able to turn any plays with it just yet. Still early days, of course, but
ooh, bubble looking pretty nice here as Keria going to get denied as Croco puts down the pillar, and there's a big old shield, but it's not going to be enough. The tidal wave going to get a cute little knock up onto Faker here. But now Hype moving on in. Will he be able to find any value? That's the question. There's the culling right on top of Gumayusi. And yeah, their health bars are getting lower, but I don't think the Bros are going to be able to finish anyone off.
It's going to be really hard. I don't think they should try for it without Palu's ult here.
Stand United was interrupted as well. Yep. Morgan tried to use it to get in on top of Closer, and it doesn't actually work.
Yeah, and that's a dead Zoe. And we know what the composition of T1 does. The Talon part of it is a little bit weird, but otherwise it's a pretty standard draft, right? That part is still pretty meta.
Yep.
You've got a Jax, you've got a Xayah, you have an Azir, you have a lot of skirmishing power, you have a lot of safety with the Xayah as well, and Bro need to be respecting the power of these skirmishes, especially the burst damage that this Talon does bring to the table. But even still, after a kill does go over, they are going to be able to get a second dragon, and they still have this Shen inside, so things are not as glum as, if you look at the gold lead only, would have you believe. I'm just not 100% sure about how Bro is going to execute on team fights later on. It's also a 2-dragon lead into Chemtech Soul, so that's not really great either, especially for this comp. I mean, Trundle's
Trundle actually loves it.
Trundle loves it, but everyone else is kind of like,
And, you know, there's healing on Nami. Just at least that.
Sure.
Yeah, but otherwise, it's still a Chemtech Soul.
Yeah, Hype playing this incredibly aggressively. If it was a different jungler that had, you know, big CC, he might actually just be dead there. but he probably wouldn't have made the play, of course, knowing that it's Talon.
Yeah, Morgan not being able to get there was just such a big deal because he couldn't have anyone go in and start the fight. The amount of like layered CC that they can have, then you put down pillars, and Hype just, even though he has short range, it doesn't actually matter because the battlefield is so difficult to navigate. But as it turns out, you just cancel that, and then it's not going to be an issue. As Closer getting on over, but doesn't quite find the paddle star.
Not quite. Close to it, though. Don't think it would have killed, but would have felt nice to collect some extra damage. Keria is going to back anyways.
Yep, you can see the gold, like, it's barely different between these two squads. But as you said, very standard draft coming out from T1. Keria is on his Rakan. Like, there are so many things that make this look so difficult for Bro to figure out. But they have a strange draft. They might be able to catch T1 unawares.
Yeah, the thing is, I think that Faker is very aware of how to play around Zoe. He's played a ton of Zoe games himself. You consider Doran's Jax has been at times quite legendary. And he is winning the lane. This time around, he is Morgan's boss. Morgan was the boss of him in Game 2, but very different reality we're living in right now. And the Shen doesn't look like it's necessarily ever going to come online if he doesn't get some attention soon. And it's really difficult to gank a Jax as Trundle because he just kind of leap strikes away and says, nice try. You're going to need a lot more resources than that. The good news is that they got all 3 grubs, so the Jax doesn't have that extra side lane pressure. That feels nice.
Yeah, and also it means the Shen has a bit of side laning power, which is kind of nice. Heartsteel now done. See how much brawling he can get done in that top lane as well.
Yeah.
Right now he is moving down towards the bottom side.
Top players kind of do stack that.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit better than some of the sad jungle performances we've seen as far as Heartsteel stacks are concerned. Not quite ARAM, but definitely better than being a jungler. As now Hype set up alongside Gumayusi here, but Oner and Keria waiting in the wings.
Deep vision that T1 have all over the map. Like, there's no flank angle they won't be aware of. And, you know, Zoe, if she's missing in the side, it's really important to have some deep vision like that because you want to know if Closer's going to pop out of a brush, sleep you, and kill you. And I'm able to track him pretty well so far. Just love to see the vision game here from T1.
Oh, Closer actually picks up a heal. That was pretty cute, but the Trouble Bubble not going to quite connect. As Gumayusi continuing to just keep things shoved up. Closer picking things up from the ground. Oner now possibly out of position as he dives onto Croco. Croco going to get a big old shield as the bubble is decent. There's a knock-up from Polo as well, but only lands onto Gumayusi as now the culling from Hype zones them really nicely. Doran able to get himself out of there with the leap strike, but the Trouble Bubble is going to come through. Closer, can he find the paddle star? The answer is not quite enough damage as Hype wanting to get it done, but the counter-strike was so good, still he just flashes in. That's a way to get it done. They'll take down the Jax, and in the meantime, Morgan is in the side lane. I think he gave a good old shield to the Jax, and not too much more than that. Sorry, a shield to his team, not much more than that.
Not really trying to do anything big on this play, but...
Closer, sometimes you can actually get that one through. It's still going to land the paddle star. That looks pretty nice.
And Faker takes a big chunk of damage. Croco is still here, by the way. Faker's already dashed. The pillar looking for Guma.
The pillar is such high value alongside this Zoe as Gumayusi's in so much trouble. A jump! And it's going to be Croco that takes him down. Still, the bubble connects onto Keria. And it's a 1-for-1 trade. Closer picks up a flash, and he may need it. But the Trouble Bubble going to come through. There, the flash comes forward, and Hype's going to look for another one. Doran is respawned and come back in, and will just eliminate the rest of the bros. And in the meantime, Morgan in the bottom lane.
So like I said, a little uncharted territory with this one.
Yeah, a little bit of that. A little bit of that. Do you know what the result is as far as gold? The gold swing, if you will?
Yeah, it's
zero.
Yeah, none. So this fight here from T1 is a little bit greedy, I feel, considering the power of this skirmishing composition on the side of Bro. They obviously have the Nami ult as well. Oner gets chunked down super low. And Bro keep chasing her. They went for the pillar on the Doran, which I don't necessarily agree with because he is Jax and can just jump over the wall. If they had saved it, maybe they actually end up getting Guma here. They're able to chase down and take out Doran. Anyways, really nice play there from Hype. Keria gets pushed away. And then you go into the mid lane where Faker has shown up and they want to go for more here. They look for Guma. And then they chase super deep because Guma still has...
Croco just flashing in.
Yeah. Ends up being almost a kill back here on the Closer as well, and then he's like, no, we
Keria with the block on the paddle star was so heroic, even if it didn't necessarily change anything.
They got the TP out of Doran, Faker TP'd, Morgan has recently TP'd, but didn't TP into the fight in that moment, and We continue the juggle. We're back to, it feels like a solo queue game here.
Yeah, it feels pretty wacky, actually.
Doran, I think he's fine. I don't think they can collapse on him. The control of this banana brush is pretty huge for T1. Chemtech Dragon is up and available. Guma has his ult, even though he doesn't have Summers. I feel like this is just T1's prize, and bro, we're going to trade it for a Rift Herald.
Yeah, that looks to be the option. I was trying to figure it out. I looked at the top of the screen. I'm like, oh, it's only 18.5 minutes into this game.
It's so fun to watch. Oh, hold that thought.
Oh, nice little electrocute proc there from Hype.
It's so fun to watch comps that teams very clearly have full mastery on. We're like, okay, 100% we know how to set up on this Dragon. And then watching this, where you're like, do we go Dragon? Do we go Herald? Better just call randomly, I don't know.
Well, in they go. There's a big old tidal wave. This is crazy. Polo is going to explode, but look at these health bars on T1. If Closer finds anyone with a bubble, it's going to be disaster, as he doesn't, so it's not. It's fine.
That was Bro hesitating to go for a contest on the Dragon, committing to going to Herald, but then deciding to commit to not doing Herald, and then Hype looking for some damage there, and then they end up losing Palu in the end for the play. So T1 do end up getting the Dragon. They deny the Herald. They maintain a 2,000 gold lead here. To go back to it, like they all backed away to the Herald and then hung around in this choke point and tried to defend the turret, even though there wasn't, like the turret's pretty healthy, there wasn't a huge wave here. And then Paulu's the one who gets collapsed on. Hype is able to escape, but then as you mentioned, the bubble does not connect. Would have been a kill onto probably anyone they caught, but Keria was the lowest health target that he was probably looking to hit there because he was also in a vulnerable spot and didn't have flash. But he doesn't hit it, and we reset. It's a 6-5 kill game here that feels like it's T1's control, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't
get wild.
Not me, Wolf. Not me. I'm not the one that knows.
I think T1 has better scaling. I'll say that I think that's pretty confidently how I feel
like
this.
also T1's draft is more sensible.
And it also just, we know what it does, and it's kind of doing it.
Yeah, and I think we know what Bros does because like this existed in like 2019, but I don't know whether it does it now.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's doing it right now. As they try to collapse on the Faker, and he just dashes away, doesn't have the flash, doesn't care about anything. This Jax is 1,000 gold ahead, and we talked about how Shin can sometimes side lane and sometimes get Heartsteel stacks. He doesn't have any of those, and he's not interacting with Doran, who has control of the side right now. Even though he doesn't have grubs, he's still Jax. The Azir is a side lane threat and does consistent damage. The Zoe is more burst focused. The Lucian is more burst focused. And it's a late game Xayah that has her summoners back up. It's not late game yet, but she will, and the late game scale better. Does have summoners up right now is what I mean to say. And T1 are just not giving up control. They got a little bit of it after that last skirmish, and now finally feel confident to take the Herald. And I think this is a reasonable take.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Hype dashing forward towards Gumayusi as Keria, holding on to his position. As Pillar of Filth goes down once again. I know it's the Pillar of Ice, but because this is the OG Trundle skin, then it's still a Pillar of Filth.
It's still filthy. I mean, I don't know.
It is, exactly. As now, Paddlestar not going to quite find the mark here, and of course, Zoe is so feast or famine. Either you hit it or you do nothing at all. As the bubble comes in, he does collect himself a bit of a sleepy time. The exhaust goes down on top of him, and he's going to try and get out, but I think he's still dead. So there is the first kill.
They need more.
And another bubble connects onto Faker as well. He will get McHale's, so he is absolutely fine.
I feel like that's not enough for Bro. Just killing so a teleporting Doran.
Unless he can take this outer turret, maybe turn that into also an Otacon. Yeah. That would be huge.
I mean, I think that's the Otacon might be a bridge too far, but at least they do get the turret. They're going to clear that ward, it looks like, in the mid lane as Morgan's going to defend Faker's push, because this is a strong side laning Azir, you know, that does have Nashor's Tooth.
Yeah, look at those Heartsteel stacks though, baby. There you go, 42.
All right. We're getting bigger.
Yep.
Going back to this play, this teleport from Doran would have been incredible if there wasn't a Zoe on the team that could just sleep.
Yeah, teleports are very, very hard to do into the middle of the enemy when there is a Zoe.
But like, if there wasn't a Zoe, it would have been sick. Like, lock him in place. Paulo also has a really nice ult to follow up, or deny any follow-up from T1 there when they do commit to killing the sleeping Jax. But T1 still end up getting the Herald, and that's why we're saying like that wasn't alone enough, but they got the turret, so it feels like a relatively even exchange here. 1,000 gold now the lead for T1. Shrank a little bit to that last play.
There's a lot of damage.
Ooh, Horizon Focus finished here for Closer. This is a big spike right before this Dragon does spawn, so could be an angle there. Hallowed Radiance up for Morgan.
They also,
less of a spike.
Yeah, they also had the Feats of Strength, which is pretty cool. So Bro now getting some upgraded shoes as well. You can see Closer puts his lucidity upgrades together.
Yeah, value of that triple grub take.
Yeah, nicely
Coming in
done.
strong.
And Morgan still with those 42. It's not super great. He's having a lonely time here in the side lane.
Picking up those kills actually pretty significant because he's going to get his IE pretty soon. They didn't quite realize how ahead he was, but that is going to be one of their biggest win cons here because he is one of the most consistent damage dealers on this squad and does have a lot of upfront burst as well when we come to fighting for neutrals. Morgan has teleport and his ultimate available, so can just stand united with his team when the commit to this Drake take does actually come through from T1. Flank here from Croco.
Yeah, Bro, I think wanting to get themselves soul point this time around is Doran on a great flank angle.
Zoning sleep pretty good.
Yep, Stand United gonna have to come in pretty soon, I think. A preemptive one would be great, as there it is on top of Hype. That's a lot of damage onto Keria, though, not able to get too much value, as finally Morgan actually gets into a battle. Still, the Zoe goes down and Doran gets a great counter-strike. The flash out from Croco might keep him alive, but Morgan not going to be so lucky. Everyone just lying on the floor, and unfortunately, the composition for the Bros just not quite working this time around, as there's the rake, and he just pops over the wall, and there it is.
Yeah, just like dried leaves, the end of autumn, down he will go. And this is going to be mid-turret for free. By the way, Herald not even employed just yet.
Oh, no, Shelly.
Still in training, in fact, yeah.
All right, so she does have a job. She just hasn't turned up yet.
Yeah. She starts on Tuesday.
All right, good.
We'll let you know when Tuesday comes around and she charges into one of these inner turrets. Because this fight here from Bro, like the sleep, I said it was zoning, but it really just missed, to be frank. And it was avoided. The ult here from Palu does kind of mess up the engage that Keria was looking for, so he gets punished, but Zoe's just so low and so squishy. And then Doran comes in here and locks the rest of these members in from retreating. You can see Morgan gets rooted. He's going to get taken out here as well, and it's basically just a full wipe as Palu runs away very sadly. He's like, maybe I get out. I got the bubble. Dried leaves at the end of autumn, yeah.
All that sort of stuff.
So I'm still wondering when Tuesday's going to roll around, because I think T1 can try to utilize this Rift Herald to get an inner turret, potentially. But I think that might have been the back-breaking fight, frankly, because now this Azir is huge. Has an extra arm guard. Look at the build from Oner. Like, he has Cleaver and now also Serpent's Fang unlocked. He doesn't really care about Shen shields that much anymore.
Yeah, no, Oner is kind of gigantic in this game. As we can see, has the biggest lead. As Morgan just tries to walk past Jax and is otherwise going to struggle, but the pillar not going to be enough to interrupt Faker there as he teleports out. He sensed it, but there was a lot of bad guys heading towards his top lane.
And like, that means that side lane pressure that T1 were trying to collapse on Faker for just kind of ends up being a bunch of wasted members, as Croco's now isolated.
Yeah, he was trying to work out which direction he wanted to go, and Death Chamber, that's the way.
Hey, there she is.
Hey, hello.
Tuesday comes faster than you think.
It certainly does, because last I checked, it was Thursday. Like, we're a long way away from Tuesday right now.
Oh, this is a long 6-gamer.
Yeah, Keria's doing like some weird stuff here now, pushing Shelly towards the top side. And T1 are on the Baron. It's been spawned for a minute 20, and they already hadn't started it.
I mean,
kinda
bro,
crazy.
they're going to show up. It's going to be quite challenging, though, to get something done. Keria eats a bit of damage, but it's too late.
Yep. Oner is going to be able to secure that one. Now looking for a flank angle as well. Speaking of flanks, Doran will find, okay, a bubble. And so that's going to connect as Polo is just dead. The Shadow Assault just a little bit much there as Hype running out of people protecting him. And in fact, there are none left as Morgan tries to get on top of Gumayusi. And Gumayusi says, thanks for the taunt. That was cute. And nothing else going to really come of it. Croco has just respawned. And the Bros, I think, have ran out of ergs in this particular game.
I do feel like the Dragon fight was probably the last gasp of this interesting experiment, as Croco's going to try to buy time.
Oh, look at that!
Slow down that wave!
There's the pillar. Really beautifully done.
Need 20 more seconds! Need 20 more seconds! But yeah, we knew that Oner was good at carry jungles and assassins, so that's not a shock. But everything else for Bro here was very experimental. It did not work out. Croco tries to buy time here. 10 seconds on
He's
closer.
just being ignored.
They don't care about him. They want to kill the Nexus.
Yeah, T1 just wants to go home. Eventually he gets swept up by Faker, who goes golden, and he'll remain golden